Watching Daniel Murphy, pretty incredible what he's done. 6 straight games with home runs. I think he's got 7 altogether, doesn't he? 7 in the postseason altogether. What's the best postseason you can remember? You remember witnessing from a baseball player?
Reggie Jackson became known as Mr. October based on he not only had 3 home runs in a game, but he also had a string of great. They didn't have, as I said, the current setup where you're going through so many different
postseason
series. But Reggie Jackson, I remember distinctly. I mentioned Gene Tennis, and people won't even go. They go, "Who's Gene Tennis?" He's a backup catcher for the Oakland A's, an alternate catcher. Bobby Richardson in the postseason.
Still has the record, I think.
Yeah,
12 base hits in one World Series.
And they lost that series to the Mazeroski and the Pirates. That was 1961. But Bobby Richardson hit like 500 during the postseason. Tim McCarver, and I know you kind of always look at me funny when I bring up Tim McCarver.
He was a buddy of yours.
But McCarver had a World Series when Bob Gibson was so dominant, where McCarver hit like 450 in the World Series. Those stand out in my mind in terms of hitters. Dominant performances in the postseason back when there was only the National League and the American League champion. Lou Burdett won 3 games. Warren Spahn was the #1 pitcher for the Milwaukee Braves. Now we're going back in the 50s, but I'm old enough to remember it. Warren Spahn was the dominant pitcher in the National League, Cy Young winner. Lou Burdett went in and won 3 games in the World Series, 1, 4, and 7, back when there were only 4 pitchers and 3 days rest they were accustomed to. Most dominant World Series I've ever seen. Whitey Ford used to have.
I got one that I think is better than Burdett's even.
I'm sure.
Mickey Lolich in '68. I was only 12 years old at the time, but it is so vivid in my memory. Mickey Lolich for the Tigers against the Cardinals. He wins games 1 and 4. Then he comes back on 2 days rest to pitch Game 7 against Bob Gibson, and pitches another complete game and wins 4-1.
Well, we have to mention then in that breath, Bumgarden.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he started 2 games and then came back and won the 7th game on about 2 days rest.
Pitching 5 innings of relief.
Something.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
I love those dominant. You're talking about you love pitching, but I love those dominant pitching. I mean, Don Larson's my favorite all-time memory of watching a game when I was 10 years old, I'm sorry, in 1956. Perfect game in the World Series. You can't get any better than that. And the drama that built in Yankee Stadium with the shadows drifting across home plate. And he was helped at the end because of Yankee Stadium with that trestles that the players at bat couldn't see anything. And Dale Long, who pitch hit strikeout at the end, lived up here. Dale Mitchell.
Yeah.
You probably know Bo Mitchell.
I do know Bo.
Bo Mitchell has been the chaplain for the CU football team and athletic program forever.
And for the Rockies.
Yeah, and his father, Dale Mitchell, struck out, called 3rd strike, and was up here in Longmont for the rest of his life, bitching the whole time that wasn't a real call 3rd strike.
Yeah.
And when I talked to him about it, he's a bitter old man about it, really. And I love Bo. And you know this, Bo. He was bitter about it. And I said to Bo once, I didn't have the nerve to say it to Dale, don't leave the bat on your shoulder when you're at you're 0-2 in the ninth. You got to take the bat. You got to take a swing at it.
Yeah. Christy Mathewson, the Big 6, and I know this only because I'm a huge baseball fan and I studied baseball history. 3 shutouts he threw against the Philadelphia A's in the 1905 World Series.
I wasn't there for that one. I wasn't cover that. But Babe Ruth had a couple of great World Series, and I would hope that Daniel Murphy, he's in a groove.
Yeah.
Last night, even after he hit the home run, he just smooths out a single into left field, and I thought, this guy's in a groove. Nobody can get him out.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that continue.
All right.